8.2, law of cosines. We started it on Friday. It was just the same approach and concept as law of sines, but it's actually less stressful because there's no ambiguous case. You don't have to worry about finding the second possible scenario. There's two arrangements with law of cosines. If you're missing a side, you use these formulas. If you're missing an angle, you use these formulas. Down here, I've already arranged them for you. They are the same formulas. It's just the ones on the bottom have the cosine of the angle by itself. And then, of course, if you were to type those in, you have to hit second cosine and then all of that in order to get the actual angle measure. We did the first problem together on Friday. You look at the picture, determine what information is provided to know which law you're going to use, whether it's sines or cosines. This picture right here shows me I'm missing the two angles and side C. If you continue to use the chart at the very beginning of the problem, you can see the information as you fill it in, so you know when you're done with the problem. So we started to find for side C first, which is very ugly until you remember to square root it. And then we had to find the measure of angle A. And then after we found the measure of angle A, we already knew the measure of angle C. We found the third angle, doing 180 minus the 2. Wow, it's going to be hard to teach. So, go to this problem. Let's look at the information that we're given, make a chart. So you've got angle A, angle B, angle C. I'm really short of breath, so I'm going to actually, if it's okay, if you'll just watch as I'm writing, that'd be great. And I'll talk when I need to. When you make your chart, the fact that there's no anchor fraction is your clue that you're doing law of cosines, because there's no anchor fraction with law of cosines. I always start with finding the side that I'm missing the most, or that I know the most about the information. I know the most about the sides here, so that would tell me I'm going to find side A first. So, set it up. Go to your formula, which I have copied it here. If you're finding side A, you can see there's the formula right there. I feel like I'm going to write cosine in bold so that it doesn't, because it looks weird with, in the formula it says 2 times B times C times cosine of angle A, and it looks weird. My candle fell out. Alright, so I'm going to plug in all of the information, type it in my calculator. When you type all of this in, you get approximately 221 point something. And remember, that's A squared. If you forget that, if you go over here and you start trying to write 221.2 as your answer, it should look weird. It should look off, right? So that's your reminder that you have to go in and square root this. So when you square root it, you end up with 15. I rounded. You get 15, 14.9. So A is approximately 15. Now we need to find one of the angles. Doesn't matter if you want to go with B or C, either one. I'm going to go for angle B. So that means I'm going to do cosine of angle B equals, and if you look at the formula, which will be given to you for this test, look at the formula for the angles. Now I think I did give you all three of them, but so cosine of angle B, I'm going to take sides A and C and plug them in, and then B is on the end, and at the bottom it's over A times C. It is just a matter of finding the formula and plugging it in. Okay? So, what was it? C squared, thank you. Minus B squared. Okay. I always remember that the one at the end is the one I'm finding. Okay, so plugging that in. So cosine of angle B is this giant fraction. When you go to actually find the measure of angle B, you're going to have to do the second cosine. You got to do the inverse. So second cosine fraction mode 15 squared you get 24.1. So angle B is approximately 24.1 degrees. And the way you finish this is your angles have to add up to what? 180 every time. So 180 minus 30 minus what you found angle B. And that would be, in my case, because of the rounding, 125.9. If I had to say where most people go wrong, it's not that they actually went wrong, it's just a difference of rounding. And that's, as Mallory just found out, like she had it all right, but they were off like the rounding in my math lab, so it counted the whole thing wrong. Which is why on this test, you will answer it in the computer, but then you're going to have all of your answers on paper, and I can honor correct answers. Hold on.
Wait a minute.
So are we at the point where you try it, and if you didn't get it right, then I'll work it, but if you did get it right, we move on? So on this example, the missing pieces, you should be about those numbers. Now you could be off by 1/10, because of rounding, but you should be pretty close to those numbers. And if you're not, then let me know and I'll work it. The homework is, I don't remember, Andy, do you remember how many questions? How many questions was the homework? 12? I took 1 and 3 off. Yeah. So the homework is exactly this type of questions. I don't know if y'all want to continue. Let's do a side problem. That's the next slide. The next slide is where all the info you know is the sides. Nothing changes in terms of it's still law of cosines. It's just a matter of you have to find an angle first, then you have to find the second angle, then the third angle is just 180 minus the 2 that you just found. So like this one right here, if you were to draw your picture, we have angle RS and T, little r, little s, little t. Remember to make sure you're putting the numbers across from the angles that they correspond with. Okay, so clearly this is a side problem. That's law of cosines. We have all 3 angles missing. Doesn't matter. It's my mom. She's probably got the cops coming.